Tip number 6, establish and manage a complete network tracking sheet. So Mark, I'm going to go out on a limb and I'm going to say most of the folks in the audience and in the CI world are not doing this. So I want you to kind of explain what you mean here.
Okay, all right. Well, actually, I've seen some companies do this. You've got a list of information that you know, and then you've got a lot of information you need back, right? And that goes back to the initial conversation. So device name, function, is it DHCP or static IP? Is there going to be a VLAN? How is it going to be identified? The port numbers. There's other information like the IP address that you don't know yet, the subnet mask gateway, switch port. Those things need to be provided. So this list becomes the worksheet that you interchange with your network department. And there's also going to be further information that you're going to add, like which is the bandwidth expectations, security information. That's going to come out, the methodology. That's going to come out in that engagement conversation. But if there's one takeaway on this podcast that I can really try to stress here, is stage the network before bringing it on site. Any device, before you bring it in and place it on the customer's network, should already be tested in your lab, should already have it pre-populated with static IPs, maybe a temporary password. And then if you're going to put any new device that's never been on that customer's network, you want to do that after hours and in a safe spot where they are aware. Particularly if you're doing something like with Dan's products where you're going to be using some bandwidth, you don't want to do that at a time when that's going to be critical for the customer. So when you're staging that, that also comes back into defining some of those requirements. Power over Ethernet, what kind of PoE, what kind of wattage you're going to require. This is all important. And the staging should be as close to the way that the actual network is going to use. And then you issue this tracking sheet, and then you expect to get this back with this information in the time for you to do your testing, and then you've got to use this also for your day 2 as-built documentation, and then to help folks like Yorktel so they can support that. They'll know how those network jacks and services are all set up, and they can refer to that sheet as part of the as-builts.